lust of the eyes and the pride of life.
Imagine, Mr. President, a society which above all values freedom and equality. A society in which artificial barriers to fulfillment and achievement are unheard of, which the rest of that society takes for granted. That 1 man in 9 does not have the chance for fulfillment or realization of his innate potentiality. That 1 man in 9 cannot promise his children a secure future and unlimited opportunity. Imagine this, Mr. President, and you have what is, in my opinion, the bitter reality of the American dream. There are more Negroes in prison with me than there are on the voting rolls. After a mass march to the courthouse, 237 Negroes, king among them, were arrested. The following day, 470 children who had deserted their classrooms to protest against King's arrest were charged with juvenile delinquency. 36 adults on the same day were charged with contempt of court for picketing the courthouse while State Circuit Court was in session. On the following day, 111 people were arrested on the same charge despite their claim that they merely wanted to see the voting registrar. 400 students were arrested and taken to the armory, where many of them spent night on a cold cement floor. They entered a drugstore, and there they were served with Coca-Cola laced with salt, and were told that hamburgers had risen to $5 each. After the arrest of 15 Negroes for protesting against this treatment, 700 Negroes boycotted their classes next day and marched in orderly fashion to jail. There they sang civil rights songs until they were warned by a state trooper that they would be arrested if they sang one more song. Of course, they sang another song, and of course all 700 were arrested. American society has felt fit to use Negro labor. It has felt fit to use the blood of the Negro in 2 world wars. It has felt fit to listen to his music. It has felt fit to laugh at his jokes. And yet, as far as I am concerned, it has never felt fit to give the American Negro a fair deal.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise.
Hello, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Reverend Point Blank podcast. And I don't really concern myself with the past, although I need to understand what it is to know how to deal with the future and basically where I'm going. A lot of times people pick things and they choose houses, they choose cars, they choose relationships, they choose all these different things, and they have no clue who they are as a person. When a person says, I will rise, that means that I personally am going to rise up, despite all of the slavery and all of the depression and all of the history of what black people have gone through. Many of them have rose above that. I can think even now, those that invented, the stoplight or the folding bed or the rotary engine or the ironing board. It's a plethora of things. These people were slaves. They were owned by their owner, and everything they made belonged to their owner. And so they still managed to leave a legacy. The history does not lie. The truth does not lie. So I'm saying that to say that how are you going to rise? Well, we all don't know when we're going to die, but that is a fact. You are going to die. Right now is all you have. You can't guarantee you'll have tomorrow. You can't guarantee next week, but you can guarantee this minute. Other than this minute, you can't guarantee anything. You can plant seeds, which brings me to my point. In order for you to be able to rise up, you have to plant a seed somewhere so that seed can rise up. And in order to do that, you have to be a good farmer. In order to be a good farmer, you have to know the weather, you have to know the climate, you have to know the ground. In other words, you have to know the mentality. You have to know your words and your deeds are your seeds. The hearts of people, that's the ground. What's in their head is the weather. But you have to know what you want to grow in your life. Otherwise, you're going to be busy getting rid of things you don't want because you don't know what you want, or you're going to be busy keeping your yard nice because it's going to rain, it's going to storm, and niggas going to show up. So, and that doesn't mean black or white. So there are always going to be things around you. In fact, these are many of the things to help you get ready for warfare, to help you prepare so that you are able to deal with the drama, with the problems that may come your way. Obviously, if you have a clue as to who you are and where you're going, you're not going nowhere you don't have any business. You're not going to be somewhere you shouldn't be. When a person takes an inventory of itself, rather than taking an inventory of the woman's ass or, the job and everything at the job and what's in stock, you need to take stock of yourself. Because all of these people I mentioned earlier, they were one of a kind. They created things that were one of a kind, and God made you one of a kind. Most of our problems is we just don't know who that person is because we don't spend enough time with that person. We spend more time with things. We spend more time with our feelings. It look good, smell good, taste good, sound good, and feel good. And as soon as something else smell good, taste good, sound good, we run off to that. Whether it's sex, whether it's a car, whether it's money, whether it's a job. That's human nature as far as people who are of this world. And see, what I'm saying is, when you take a total inventory, those 5 things that people chase their whole lives, you can add one primary thing to that is, of those 5 senses, you can add one primary thing to that is, that's the 6th sense, which is common sense, what to do with the 5 you got. If you don't have a direction for your senses, if you don't have a direction for your mind, your purpose, your physical self, your being, then how are you going to have a purpose for anything else that's going to amount to anything worth anything? It's like you're putting your money in a bag with holes in it. You're not investing in you. You're either going to be a product or a service. You're going to be servicing somebody, whether you're an electrician, a plumber, or whatever it is you do. Somebody has to do that. But most people do that because they don't know themselves enough to know what God gifted them with. God says, I leave one talent, 1 2 talent, 1 3 talent. He gave you talents. The one that had 1 talent, he buried it. Called him a wicked and some kind of servant. He didn't like it. So what I'm saying to you is, whether he likes it or not, you're responsible for your choices. And if you wake up in the morning, you got 2 C's. You got a chance and a choice. You got a choice because you got a chance. And in those 2 elements that we have right this minute, you make choices in your mind. Which way I'm going to go left? Which way I'm going to right? Am I going to say something else? Am I going to do this? I'm going to get this job? You have to realize before you start using your senses to make decisions for you, have a purpose and a direction for your life so that your senses fall in line like Star Trek. I'm the captain. You understand? I got this intelligent brother. I got Wolf who will whoop a nigga's ass. I got, Sulu who guide the ship. But these are all personalities that are inside most people, and they just don't know themselves enough to know how to control it or what those positions are for those people in their journey, because they're just going through space, or they're in a river and they don't have a rudder, they don't have a sail. And this is all I'm saying. Regardless of what happened in the past, we know it was messed up. We know it's even messed up now. But who's going to do something? You can't look at the president to do nothing. You know how he is. You can't look at politicians to do anything because you know how they are. It has to start with you, yourself at home. And the best way to tell if somebody got their shit together is to go into their house. If their house is unorganized and clean and nasty, that's pretty much how their lives are. See, because I personally cannot work around a situation and think and concentrate and be creative around a situation that's nasty or out of order, or where I have to look for things. It has to be in order. Thus, those things around my house will continue to teach me how to be order, how to have order in my own life. Although you should do that before you do that. That way you know how to do that. So I'm not going to keep you, but I want to tell you, death is guaranteed. Life is not. How you going to live? Well, I'm going to live with some of this.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll arise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Just because I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my sassiness upset you? Don't take it so hard just 'cause I laugh, as if I have gold mines digging in my own backyard. You can shoot me with your words, you can cut me with your lies, you can kill me with your hatefulness, but just like life, I rise. Does my sexiness offend you? Oh. Does it come as a surprise that I dance as if I have diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Up from a past rooted in pain I rise. A black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling and bearing in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear I rise. Into a daybreak miraculously clear I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the hope and the dream of the slave. And so, wow. There I go.